You hear gunfire and explosions in the distance. What's your next move? At first, I'd feel nostalgic. I grew up at FT Knox, when it was still the home of armor. Used to hear automatic weapons and tanks firing all the time. Hell, I've slept in the bleachers at an active tank range, where I could feel the concussion of the muzzle blast. After that, I'm making sure the lights are out, the rats and my wife are secured, and I'm gathering a few things from the gun safe before I start keeping an eye on things. Telling my husband to get off of me before he suffocates my kitten, and that both myself and Boudreaux will stay where he put us. And fire nearby as it warms here becomes a nightly thing between the crap neighbors we are right between and the damn fall that shoots down into the ravine every evening around 10 is a pretty usual thing. I only panic when my husband yanks me onto the floor and hands me my kitten. It would depend on how distant the distance is. There's a military base nearby, so it's not unusual to hear gunfire in the distance. But if it were on the street in front of my house, I would go downstairs to my parents and maybe see if we can see anything downstairs. Hi. Call the police. Check on neighbors via the group chat. Apparently next time I'm not calling the cops because my neighbors that live a quarter of a mile across the road were blowing up gallon jugs of tannerite and rattling the windows in my house. And after the deputy gave them a visit, he drove back to my house, so the neighbors now knew who called the cops on them. I live in the country, and I would chalk up the explosions to one of these Cubas shooting cans of that thermite shit, more likely their own homemade version. But to each their own amorite that explodes when you shoot it. I mean, is this 30-40 gunshots and some fireworks or multiple machine guns battling one another with hellfire missiles interspersed? A good indicator would be, can you feel the impacts in the distance? 'Cause if so, it's time to beat feet. An rifle, personal documents, first aid kit, life straw, MREs and a couple ammo cans. Throw on my old army BDS and head toward my mum's home where my sister and her family are currently staying. I live in Kentucky, so gunfire is frequent. If there is heavy fire, I sometimes make note of the time in case something comes up on the news later on and I can say, yeah, I heard that guy annihilate his family. I'd probably assume my neighbor's trying out his new recipe for BBQ ribs again. Time to grab my apron and head over for an impromptu taste test. Who needs a grill when you've got neighborhood fireworks, right? I live 400 meters from where the First Nations people are currently in the midst of their brant goose hunt. Pretty normal to hear gunshots right now. They also enjoy fireworks fairly often. Look out the window. I am in the southern end of the area to be used for this one. I live in Mesa. It's probably my upstairs neighbor's either fighting about his drinking again or setting off fireworks immediately outside my bedroom window again. I lived near a military base. Every day I heard gunshots. NP5, HKG3 and others. Grandes. Land mines exploding in sappers' drills. So it's just another day. I live in rural Maine. This is normal. Neighbor Stan hit the fire water and is up to mischief. My next move is to mutter shithead and keep on keeping on. Lay down on the floor and turn up the volume on my headphones. At least that was my go-to move when I was growing up. The neighborhood was kind of a mess. Probably just pretend it was fireworks. That's the only way to avoid the incredible anxiety about living so close to some unsafe neighborhoods. I would call the police and say I heard gunshots and explosions close to my house. I'm freaking out and I am about to commit suicide. Depends on the time of day. During the daylight hours, I'd probably go on about my business. At nighttime, I'd probably amble off to bed. If history is any guide, I'd start slowly meandering towards them, while telling people around me while those sound like gunshots. Depends on where you live. Chase after it, because you're afraid your kids might be there. Or run away. No one likes getting shot. Me asks BF if we should call police. BF, who is from Bradford, already out the front door with baseball bat in hand. I'd guess someone is doing firecrackers, and someone accidentally stopped their car while changing gear. Totally ignore it. That's totally normal here. Unless it's very close to me, it's not even a reason to wake up. If I know it's there, Call the police. I'm not sure I can distinguish gunfire from other loud noises though. I see the fighting restarted. I should probably hurry home now. The rocket alarm will probably ring in a bit. I live near and across the street from farms. It's rural. Gunfire and explosions are just things you hear. In my area, it's probably rednecks shooting tannerite, so I just keep doing whatever I was doing. Find cover and see if I can find something on the news or on social media about what is going on. As in living near a Bundeswehr training area, I would ignore it like I did for the last 37 years. Hop on to Twitter, YouTube, television to see what those Yankees across the border are up to now. Run towards it and yell, "Stop fighting. This isn't you." That'll for sure calm things down. DDD. Distance description detail, small arms or other. Fuck. I forgot the last one. I live nearby to the training ground of the local police special force. Probably nothing, XT. It's in the distance, so probably nothing. I'll make a move when it starts getting closer. I'd say to my partner the neighbors are fighting again. Let's go watch from the porch. Go to the Winchester. Have a nice cold pint. And wait for this all to blow over. Run towards the distance like a brainless modern-day NPC. Haha, I am in danger. Sounds like a regular Tuesday. Why would I need to have a move for it? Check Twitter for information and make a post alerting people. Need more context. Is this unusual for your neighborhood? Looking at my time spent in Surrey. This is just Surrey. Battle speed. Attack speed. RMMINGSPED. Sleep. Someone else would deal with it. I need my 8 hours. Go to sleep. I do live next to an artillery range.